filming this segment, we inadvertently captured on film a spirit anomaly. Watch carefully as it appears out of nowhere and rapidly accelerates upward.
You know, studying these UFOs and watching them for many years, I've come to find out that these things like energy spots, power plants seem to be the intergalactic gas station, if you will. I noticed that these UFOs would actually hover over some electrical power plants, and sometimes they would gather up so much energy that they would start to steam. And studying this type of phenomenon, I'd come to find out that these mountains, South Mountain is one of them, was created by a fault line. And these fault lines generate a type of energy. And this would explain on the reasons why these UFOs like mountains so much, especially the ones with the fault lines, is because they're absorbing the energy that the fault lines are producing. And along with these fault lines, and some people like to call them ley lines, we find pyramids. And these pyramids, whether they're natural phenomenon pyramids or if they're man-made pyramids, we find them on certain spots around the world that harnesses or attracts energy. And this is the reason why the UFOs like these pyramids so much, is because they're sitting on top of energy markers, ley lines, or fault lines.
It's obvious from the wall art that the holocom had no love relationship with the numerous spirits in the sky. But why?
This is what I believe to be an altar. And on the back side of this altar, we find Mayan or Aztec art. Now, clearly, this is art that we find on the pyramids of Mexico. And we have these, what look like orbs, okay, and they're connected together. Now, I've seen a lot of these orbs together like this, and they actually are connected, okay, as to say they're like, they're connected together. And I believe when they do this, they're either interacting with each other or they're absorbing each other's energy by connecting themselves together. When we come around to the front side of this altar, we can clearly see on how this has been carved out. This whole panel here, along with this here, has been carved out. And we find stains, okay, that seems to be dripping off of this altar. Before they did their sacrifice, if you notice, it's right at a dried up riverbed. And what they used to do is they used to purify themselves first by washing themselves in the water before they did the sacrifice on the altar. And according to the legends here, when the sacrificing had stopped, that's when the spirits got uneasy and they got upset. And that's when the land started to dry up. The Hohokam didn't worship the sun, but they felt the sun was a tyrant god. And they felt that if they had stopped the sacrifice, that the sun god would get mad and would send his Valley of the Sun, his sun devils, to come down and to do whatever they wanted to do with the people. Here we find a stick figure guy with 4 arms, and he has this magical staff weapon, if you will. And he's pointing, he's shooting at this serpent in the sky. The sacrificing did stop, and that's when the land, according to the story, became dry and desolate, and that's when the Hohokam ended up disappearing.
You know, as I look back behind us over here, it looks like all these rocks were just pushed over something. And
That's right.
It's hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
What is it hiding? What do you think is buried there?
Something very significant is within this pyramid hill here. Whether it's gold tombs or whether it's a buried Mayan king, but something very significant, very special is buried within the walls here.
The people that would try to hide something like this would not want people to be looking for gold idols unto the alleged gods that the Indians saw. So perhaps It's a tomb where there's golden idols hidden.
That's correct. That's correct. And in studying this phenomenon here and in studying the myths of South Mountain, we should find many tombs with many gold idols representing the spirits that was seen in the sky.
Well, listen, we've had a great trip. I'm really thankful that you've allowed us to come out here and
thank you so much.
Find out all about your studies, 5 years of research into this South Mountain. And I think it confirms to, and will confirm to many people, that there really is a spiritual world, and it's not just invisible stuff. It's stuff that manifests in forms and dimensions, and I think it's pretty conclusive. So thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming out.
Whether or not Ronald Reagan understood the magnitude of the invasion that he referred to in his famous speech to the United Nations in the 1980s is today just an academic question. But for sure, what we've just witnessed is very difficult for the human mind to understand. But what do I think? What do I believe? I believe we have looked into the realm of the dark stars. The fallen angels, as mentioned in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, a realm that has insinuated itself into every fabric and thread of human life, into our economics, our religions, our political realm, education, and even science. A good example of that is in the emerging field of transhumanism. But I think the Apostle Paul had it right some 2,000 years ago when he wrote to the people in Asia Minor and said, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against spiritual wickedness in high places, against the rulers of this age." I'm Ken Klein.